Hello everyone, my name is Adeze Obasi, the team lead at Influencer Zone. We have a guest with us and she'll be sharing her journey to clarity. Her name is Oreoluwa Oni, aka Nigeria's foremost purpose coach. She's a certified life coach, a twice over John Maxwell team certified personnel, a lead consulting certified speaker, a degree holder in philosophy from the University of Lagos, and a Master of Science degree holder in industrial psychology in view. She's a dedicated speaker, trainer, and coach interested in ensuring people identify their life's purpose and utilize it before they die. Her life's work has been to gain understanding of the human mind and how it changes itself sufficiently enough to create the reality it wants. Welcome, Miss Oreoluwa. We're so
Thank
glad to
you.
have you here with us. So, can you please briefly tell us about yourself, your educational background, and your career?
Okay. As you said already, my name is Oreoluwa Uni,
Okay.
and yeah, I'm going to say this on purpose. Okay, so I'm the middle child of my parents, right? I'm the middle, and I've always been in the middle, and I think that's where my story starts from, where it's like that middle, being the mediator, being the conflict resolutor, being the fly on the wall for everything. And you know how we are just living our lives right now, and most of us are living our lives to live our lives, to exist, to just be. And you get to that point in your life where your parents or people around you start to ask you, what do you want to do? Bro, what's your own, what's your gist in life?
Yeah.
Do you understand? What's your essence? And when you finally get to the point where you ask yourself that question, right, and you answer that question, you will go on the purpose journey. And so that was what it was for me. My name made me start to think about, okay, all the middles I've been, what's the problem that really, really disturbs me? And that was where I got to the question of happiness. So many people are struggling with being happy
True.
in Nigeria, especially. You know, our country is very, very stressed. Super
Say
stressed.
that
And
again.
in Lagos, they full on Lagosian. It's like that is our whole vibe. And being in the middle, I really wanted to solve the problem on a larger scale. I didn't want to solve it like, okay, I can give you ice cream. Like, let me sell ice cream and make everyone happy, right? No, I wanted to solve it on a larger scale in terms of, okay, what will give you long lasting happiness?
Yeah.
And so, really, what is me is helping people find that long lasting happiness, that fulfillment happiness. And so that's why my also known as is Nigeria's foremost purpose coach, because I help people find their purpose, utilize it, and live a more meaningful life.
So I know that in this purpose journey, there are a lot of hurdles one would have to climb and cross, and that there are lots of barriers associated with you finding out your purpose and being on that path to fulfilling it. So, what keeps you going when all of these things are thrown at your face?
Very good question.
Mm.
I would say many things at many different times. Right now, I have an inner circle. Like I have a circle of people who we bounce off when I'm down. They're not down, so they can bounce off me and I can bounce off them. But I feel like when I didn't have that inner circle, because I feel like at the beginning I didn't have that. I didn't have that support system. It was like God. I would just go back to God and be like, okay, you sent me on this errand, oh. I beg you, help
You
me.
have to help your child.
you know. But for a very, very long time, and that's why they say, you know, brushing your teeth is good because you brush every day, right? So motivation for me, like I used to watch a lot of videos and content that
Yeah.
would boost my spirit every time I was feeling super down. And so even when I wasn't thinking, okay, God can help me do this, I would literally just be watching videos, watching all that content that would help me or bring me out of that space. And then I could then go on to the journey. So it's not like some dramatic thing like, oh, I just hyped up myself and talked to myself or something. No, most times it was just like practical tools. So who are the people around you? Do you have a support system? Do you have a support system in terms of digital stuff like content? That's kind of support system. And then of course, if you do have a spiritual angle to that, the spiritual angle will always help. So God was my own help.
All right. So God is your help.
Yes,
So even
it is my
when those
help,
times
exactly.
come through and you just reminisce on the word of God and go through it, it keeps you strong and keeps you standing despite all of these things. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So a lot of people say they are introverts, and a lot of them they feel that because they have this personality trait.
Yeah.
There are certain things they cannot do.
Okay.
So, do you think having a particular personality trait is has something to do with what your purpose in life should be?
Okay. So personality, it's something that is inborn, like it comes from your DNA, literally. But is also influenced by your background,
Okay.
by the people that you associate yourself with,
Yeah.
then by your gender and your space, your environment. And so if you say that, okay, whatever you want to do, like your purpose, whatever, right, is influenced by what is supposed your DNA, right?
Yeah.
That means every other thing that you set out, every other thing that exists for you, right, is influenced by your personality. It means that if you want to do anything, you can always blame, or if you don't want to do anything, you can always blame it on your personality. So the thing is, when they say that life is 90%, a bit 10% what people do to you and 90% how you
How you react
respond
to
to
it.
it. So your personality is there, right? It's your default setting, is what you would do in your survival mode. But achieving purpose, right, despite personality traits. In fact, I would say that in my experience, if you have a purpose, your purpose would actually drive you out of the normal things that your personality would naturally not allow you to do. Like I always say, I am a diagnosed introvert. Like
Really?
I am so happy in my room. Like I'm so like people do not understand how much of like how happy I am that there's COVID. I'm sorry to say, but like this is my life. Like don't greet
Because it
me.
keeps you
Don't
in at
even.
all times.
I like to be by myself, but the funniest thing is just put me in a space where I'm doing my calling. Just put me in a space where I have to do what I have to do. I would forget my introversy. Like, talk to the weirdest. Tell me to. I walked up to people on Oshodi, right, to hand out flyers for my program. Like, I did not care that I'm some Tush girl from bruh. Tush is not going to help this thing. Do you understand? So, like, I feel that that's actually the magic of having a purpose or having a calling, is that it's going to go beyond what you think, right, is your personality, or your personality would naturally hold you down from doing. So it doesn't matter if you're an introvert or an extrovert. It doesn't matter what personality traits you hold. It shouldn't affect your purpose.
All right. So, a lot of people have this issue with consistency.
Yeah.
It's not like they don't have that drive, or they are not in line with that purpose anymore. But there are days when they just wake up and they remember that they are supposed to do something, their daily targets, and they're like, no, I don't want to do
Do it
this
today.
today. They just feel tired, not because they want to give up on everything that they
Yeah.
have started so far, but because there are days where you just feel very tired. And
Yeah.
how do you cope with that? How do you keep being consistent even in times like this?
Okay. So I'm going to coin a word right now.
Okay.
It's going to be Yoruba and English.
Okay.
Right?
You hope you are going to.
But I'll give you the translation.
Yes, because I'm an Igbo girl.
Literally means Kobaology. That's my that's my formula.
Okay.
Right? And Koba means put yourself in trouble. Right?
Of Koba
So
means-
exactly.
Okay.
So what happened is, if I have an idea,
Okay.
and I know I want it to happen, I want Ore to do this thing. I want to be, as in, I want this thing to keep happening. I want to keep showing up for this stuff, right? I'm going to cover myself. I'm going to put myself in trouble. I'm going to go out there, make a flyer, put it out there, shout about it. Everybody's going to be like, wow, Ore is going to do this thing, right? So every single time I'm sleepy, I'm tired, or I don't feel like doing it,
Yeah.
I'm going to remember that people are going to ask me,
About
Ore,
this.
have you done this? Do you understand?
Yeah.
So there was a time I did a challenge. I like reading books, but I think I prefer audio. So that's why YouTube is good for me, right?
Okay.
So I wanted to read this book. I'd already chosen the book. I did not check that book was small print, small letters, and then it was like 500 pages. And I said I was going to read it in a month. I'd already said it's nothing. I've covered myself, right? So what I did was I calculated the book per day. So 500 pages divided by 30 days, right? So how many pages do I have to read a day?
day.
Please, I don't know maths. Let's don't go there. But whatever amount of pages, let's say it was 50 pages a day, right? I now did something called the read something challenge, right? So it was on my stories every day. So I had to come every day to my story and read the book and say, okay, I've read the book, oh, this is what I
And give
learned
like your
today.
review.
And so if I forgot, maybe on the third day or the fourth day, somebody would chat me up and be like, oh, already you've not done this today. Even if it was 12 midnight, I would
You would
read
have
that
to
book.
do that.
And so that's the thing, you have to put rituals in place. The mistake people make is they think that they are superwoman. Like by the time you get that motivation, oh my god, I've done it, I'm the great, like I want to do this thing or whatever, and then you think that you're super, but you're not. No matter, even the biggest people in the industry, they have to put rituals in place to be consistent. So if you need to have an accountability partner, if you do you understand, if you need to have a support group, if I now I have a support group, like I have a literal support group of people that we all we do is get ourselves to be consistent. Every single day we remind ourselves, this is what we're doing, this is what we're doing. So
Yeah.
I don't have that problem of, okay, but when I didn't have that support group,
It
bro, I used to
was
put myself in trouble. So that's my literal, yeah, that's my formula for being consistent. Just put rituals in place to help yourself be consistent, because you can't do it on your own.
all right. So guys, you have to cover yourself. Put yourself in trouble. Put it out there. So that even when you feel tired and you don't want to continue anymore, the fact that you've already put it out there and there's someone waiting to see this, would the person would trigger you to continue with what you're supposed to do. So thank you so much for that wonderful answer. I'm sure it will trigger someone to keep being consistent
Go
in what they're
ahead, please.
doing.
This is my
All right. So
philosophy.
what would your advice be to someone who was on a journey and he thought that that was the path he was supposed to take? He was on that journey for a few years, only for him to realize that this this was not it anymore for a man. This is not it at all, and he had already invested a lot of time and even years into it. And he was like, Ada, I don't know what to do. What do I do? I've invested a lot of, I'm frustrated. And I'm sure there are many others out there like him that have started a particular journey thinking that that is it for them. And along the line, they realize that that's not it for them. So what would your advice be to that person?
My advice would be to calm down, right? And actually be okay with trying something new. So this has happened to me, and it has happened to a bunch of people around me,
Yeah.
right? And the issue is like, it's the shame of saying, oh wow, I've been this person for
I
so
know,
long,
right?
and then you have to go back and literally start from the beginning,
Yes, yes.
right? But the thing is, the time that you're wasting feeling ashamed and not doing anything and feeling, and you say you're confused, but actually you're ashamed, right? Because what you don't want to, you know what to do, but you don't want to do it because it's shameful, it's stressful, it's hard, right? So is that starting, like, actually calm down, have a conversation with yourself and say it's okay to start again. Like, nobody, because your timeline is not somebody else's timeline, right? So the reason is that you're comparing yourself to all your peers
Yeah,
who have
that
already
peer
gone
pressure. In
far,
fact, that
and then somebody who probably got it right the first time round, and he's already 10 years into his own industry,
yes.
and you're like, bro, I'm just going to start again. But the funniest thing is, if you waste time sitting down there saying, oh, I'm just going to start again, you're going to spend like 2 years there, when you could have already been 2 years into the new
Into the
thing.
new thing. Yeah.
Do you understand? Even if
Yes.
it's just on a journey of finding the new thing. Because first of all, there's no purpose as a purpose for life. Mandela had the purpose of going ahead to save his country from apartheid and all that. But he did it. He did it. 37 years in prison, he was done. Right? And then the next purpose was to become a president. How to get them out of that mindset of slavery and inferiority,
Yes,
and
yes.
move on to the point where they're forgiving. That was another purpose of, so it's different levels and stages. So if you understand that, even what you learned in those years that maybe you were in that path that supposedly was wrong, those things are useful in this new sphere. If you can learn that and then move, just carry everything with you and just go, right? In fact, what you will discover is that you will move so much faster in this new space, because you
Yes.
have so much knowledge. But the time that you're wasting on old strategy that's not working, because probably the reason why you're moving to a new side is because probably that angle was not working. Nobody moves away from momentum. If you even move, even if you had money in that space, it was not working for you, on a fulfillment space. Do you understand? So if you then find a fulfillment in this new, please move. Like, the best thing for you to do is be around people that are moving. Like, go ahead and change your friends. So what if you can change the position you're in, change your space fast enough that it would ginger you to take action and leave the shame. it will be good for you. So anybody right now struggling with that space of, okay, I want to move to that level, just do it. That's Nike sign, right? Just do it as fast as you can before you can think about the shame, right? I remember going to school, right?
Okay.
And I went to school because everybody was like, alright, you can't talk, you be talker, blah blah blah. Please, if you're an art student and you talk, what is the course that you think your parents are going to tell you to do?
Either you go for law or
That's
mass
all. Don't
communication.
finish there. End it there. As a Nigerian, it is law, right? So people were already calling me the law. I mean, I was feeling myself. Do you guys? I have an uncle that is a son. Do you understand? I had law firms waiting for me. I was already fooling myself. When I entered there, I was like, bro,
This is not.
I understand. Do you know what happened to me? I did diploma in law. I got 2.5 CGPA, right? Now, I was training. I was as class rep.
Okay.
I was teaching people that got 5 points.
5 points.
Do you understand? I was teaching them one shade tutorial. I want to explain it in English. I was doing tutorial, right? After that, that's the first year. So the second, I was in the library so much that a senior came to me and was like, sister, what year? And I was like, diploma. I was like, diploma? Why are you reading like this? I was
Just
like,
diploma.
don't worry. And was at least, as in, I didn't want to disgrace. I'm such a perfectionist. I didn't want to disgrace myself like this. At least let me come back with 4.5. Guess what? The second semester, I got 2.5 again. Exactly the same 2.5. So I said,
And
in my room,
2.5 is under what grade?
bro, it's just middle ground. 5.0 is the CGPA, right? So 2.5 is like half of it. God was just telling me, you're not
like
a
a second class
failure,
lower.
right? But you're not a success. He was telling me that this is not.
You're just a mediocre.
This is not your part. That was the information, but I didn't want to take it the first time, so I had to take the second disgrace so that I will understand, right?
This is not good.
So when I got that result the second time around, they just told me. I sat on my room for like a week, and I was like, God, oh yeah, speak. Since maybe I've been talking too much, I'm not making sense. So what I'm saying is, I had to walk away from that shame. People are still calling me the Lord till today. I did not tell them that I've right? But the point is, the faster I moved away from there, the more like now, right? People that used to call me the Lord started calling me Roxy. I started calling me Nigeria's Famous Purpose Coach, because I didn't let that get me down. If I had stayed there, do you understand? I did my NYSC in a law firm. And I will go out. People will be greeting me that I'm a lawyer, and the lawyer that I came with, right, will be like, "It's me, oh, she's my legal assistant."
Do not take my position.
Do you understand? But every single person in that office, I helped them find their purpose before I left.
Wow.
Do you understand? So move away from that space. You will find magic, because it still all comes together. Like the experience that you have from that space that you started from, is still going to be relevant in the new space. So move fast. Just do it.
And I also think that such people should not beat themselves too much. I mean, the fact that you realize that is not it is a big thumbs up for you, because a lot of people have not even realized that they are taking the wrong path. So the fact that you already know that you're on the wrong path is a plus to you, really.
Exactly.
So don't beat yourself too much about it, and just take your time, like she said. Will definitely come true. So what would your advice to others be, or be your final words, even as this session comes to an end?
Okay. I would just say, have fun in the ride. Like, this life is actually pretty short, right? One of the things that really sealed my journey for me, my mom died in our house, right? And I saw her that, like, she was here 1 minute and she was gone the next, right? So just like breeze blowing, and like breath goes out of a human being. And that kind of, like, one of my mentors calls it mortality motivation, right? Where it's like, that now how fickle life is. And so you there thinking, I'm going to do this thing tomorrow. I'm going to do this. What if you don't make it tomorrow? No matter how young you are, 2 years, 3 years are having cancer. So you're not special.
Even
do you understand? I don't care how great you are, how much God loves you, right? If he loves you, he wants to bring you to his house that much earlier. So if you go home today, what are you leaving behind? Do you understand? Like, you lived and then you died. You didn't leave any legacy. And that was what I feel like God gave us a calling for. He gave us that calling so that you can live beyond your death. right? So the things that my mom used to do that we used to laugh at, like, oh, oh my God, she would literally lead people to Christ on the plane to the hospital, right? She was leading nurses to Christ. And those nurses are the people that are coming to us now and showing up when we need them or something. Do you understand? So those are the things that you're really going to leave behind. All those other things are not going to matter. Money is not going to matter. Do you understand? So what is going to matter for you is what you leave behind in terms of that calling that God gave you. So discover it, use it before you die. That's my only message in life, and that's the message I'll keep giving till I die. If I can get as many people on my side living their purpose and utilizing it before they die, I'm fine. I'll die, be happy. If I die now, I'll be the happiest person.
Yeah, because you've helped a lot of people realize their purpose.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. So, guys, don't forget to leave your footprints on the sands of time. Thank you so much once again for honoring our invitation.
You're welcome.
I'm sure someone out there is amazed by all of the things we said, and I'm sure someone out there is also triggered to do more beyond just
Very
living.
triggered.
I mean, people are just existing, and thank you for shedding more light. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.